So fear, agitation, any form of stress, all of these affect your digestive system. I've seen so many people who suffer from irritable bowel syndrome. A lot of times you'll see a lot of nervousness, anxiety in these people. Like that is somewhere they have a lot of those emotions playing, which affects their digestive system. Okay. So the other important aspect of Ayurvedic nutrition is to realize these psychophysiological connections and to approach it from that view as well. So remember, your digestive system is very much connected to your brain. Okay? All right. Moving on. Ahara. Ahara is a Sanskrit word for diet or food. Okay. So nourishment is ahara. This nourishment is not just on a physical level, but this nourishment is on your whole being, meaning on the mind and spirit level as well. So obviously food is not the only source of nourishment. Does that make sense? Because it is on a whole level. So the nourishment you could get from food, you could get this nourishment from water. You can also get this nourishment from emotions, right? You can get this nourishment from breath, and you can get this nourishment from information through your sense organs. So that is ahara or intake. We are mainly going to talk about the food aspect in this class. Now, what is the importance of ahara? Food is very essential for life. Food is prana. So food has prana energy, and we have talked about this morning. Food has prana energy, life energy. So in order to be able to sustain, you have to have food, because it builds your dhatus, right? Because there is constant depletion going on. So you have to make sure the dhatus get their nourishment as well. So that is what food provides. It provides life energy. It also provides building blocks to create new dhatus, which are the reservoir of energy in different forms. Dhatus are constantly broken down to utilize energy. So to replenish them, we need food. In Ayurveda, food is considered as a ritual. It is called as Purna Brahma. It's a complete blissful state. So you sit down. So, typically how food is eaten, how do we eat here now? We eat on the go, we eat in the car, we eat at traffic lights, right? The moment, the car says, okay, I have to get a bite of something, I have to get a sip of coffee. That is what we do. So again, we are multitasking is one thing. Your mind is not focusing. And if your mind is in 4 different directions, trying to look at the light, trying to not hit another car, trying to also take a sip of coffee, making sure it doesn't, spill on your lap, all of those things, then do you think you are paying enough attention to that coffee, which is your food at that point? No. So to make that ritual or to make it complete, what we need to do is sit down, relax, focus on your meal, drink, feel and see the colors, the textures of the food that you're putting in your mouth. Half the digestion occurs outside the body, right? And the rest half is taken care of by Agni, by doing all these things. I mean, it's our hectic lifestyle that is making us do all these things. But if you look at your grandmother, or if you look at 3 generations behind you, this is what they did. They sat down at the table as a family, ate their meals. That is what everybody did all around the world. So that is very important to do. Okay, and like I said, you know, even in Ayurveda or in the Indian culture as well, food is regarded as it is a ritual. You place everything on your plate, different colors, textures. You pray before you eat. You thank before you eat. Other thing that you do is you feed someone else before you eat, because then you're doing a good deed before you put that food in your own body. You'll see mothers feeding their children. You know, they are unable to eat if their child doesn't eat, because they want to make sure the child eats first. It is a natural instinct which comes. But by doing those things, that food becomes Purna Brahma. Okay? So then food energizes the mind. So depending on what kind of food you're eating, it will energize your mind. Now, mind is energized by, mind has three gunas, right? Mind has Sattva guna, Raja guna and Tama guna. These three gunas will increase or decrease based on the types of food that you eat, right? Because do you know that like increases like, you know that, right? If you eat the similar quality of things, that similar quality will be enhanced in your body. So if you eat sattvic foods, Sattva guna will enhance in your body, right? So if you eat fresh, if you eat fruit, if you eat freshly cooked food, if you eat ghee, you know ghee? Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you eat all those things, it will increase Sattva guna. Good quality milk, all these are sattvic foods. If you eat Rajasic foods, it was obviously going to do the same thing. And if you eat Tamasic foods, it is going to do the same thing and give you the same qualities. What are the qualities of tamas? Lethargy, dullness, manifestation as depression, etc. Right? So if you eat tamasic foods, it's going to do that. If you eat Rajasic foods, it's going to cause that aggression, violence, greed, jealousy. It is going to do that again. So it is very important to, you know, make sure that we have a good portion of sattvic foods in our diet. Strength, health, and our life depend on Agni. But Agni is also constantly replenished from the food we eat. So to maintain Sama-Agni, eating balanced food is essential. And as and when we talk about Agni, this will become more clear. That we have to eat foods which will balance your Agni, not which will imbalance your Agni, because ultimately Agni is strength. Agni is, what did I say? Agni is digestion, right? So if your digestion is good, obviously your dhatu building will be better, no ama will be formed, there will be no blockages. You will produce, what is the ultimate dhatu? From Shukra, what is produced? Ojas, right? When you produce Ojas, obviously then you will be more radiant, more energy, and your health will be good. So Agni becomes very important because it's the stepping stone to your health. So maintaining Samagni is important. Strength, energy, clarity of mind, radiance of skin, immunity, sharpness of senses depends on the food we eat. Again, you know, strength, energy, clarity of mind, everything is, there is no ama in the body, right? I don't know if you have noticed, or maybe from this point on you should start noticing these things. Is you know, days when you eat freshly prepared food, you feel much better, and days when you eat leftovers, you feel different. Okay. Now these are things which you will feel. It may not come right away, but it shows. It shows not just in your body, it shows in your physical body, it shows in your mind, it shows in your emotions, it shows in your interaction with people also. Okay, so notice all these things.
But with leftovers, I don't know if I agree with that, because with leftovers, I mean, if you think about the time you spent making it, it's, you know, the ingredients, everything else, and if you're eating it the next day, it's not. It's
not good. We'll come to that, okay, because we're going to have like a whole like
Because
a
actually
couple
I feel
of
quite
hours.
smug if I can get 2 meals.
Right. I mean, in a way,
Get 2 meals out of it.
yeah, in a way it feels good because you are not spending that much time in the kitchen preparing, making and cleaning up.
But I know what went in it. I mean, it's all sattvic, it's healthy, it's everything
Right,
else.
right.
So it's, I don't, and it's just
Right.
interesting. But
Yeah, it's just that in Ayurveda, if leftovers are considered as food with no prana energy.
Really?
Yeah.
So what if you make something the night before for the next day that's not, what's that about?
Ideally, it should be only for that meal.
Only for that meal?
Ideally, but I think one meal after that, I tell I tell them it's okay. But like I said, ideally in the text, it's only for that meal. But say let's you cook something for lunch and you eat for dinner, okay. But if you're refrigerating it over 2 days and then bringing it out, warming it in a microwave, and then having it, not so good. If you're freezing soups and stews for, you prepare a big pot and freeze for a week, no. If you cook meals, over the weekend and use them every day, from Monday to Saturday, no. Because freezing, and we'll talk about that, freezing has a certain effect on food, canned foods have a certain effect, all of those things have a certain effect. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm telling you my personal experience. Earlier, I didn't pay much notice to all these things. Earlier, I mean 15 years ago. I did not pay as much heed because, you are in your own world, studying and, whatever you have to do. But, as I started paying attention, I noticed like I got little insights into it. It's from my own experience. I mean, not that somebody told me or because I know it's not good, it, changed my mind. It's just like what happened. I noticed if I ate something like stale food for over a long period of time, after 3 or 4 days, it would upset my stomach, right? Things like that. Or if I ate stale food over a period of 3-4 days, I would, not feel very good mentally. In the sense, when I say not feel good mentally, it's not that I did not do what I needed to do. It was just that I don't know if you could call it sattva, that sattva reduced somewhere. Okay, and some maybe rajas qualities came up, or some tamas qualities came up. But that is from my own experience. So that's why I'm inviting you. You start thinking in those terms. It doesn't come right away. Yeah. And see how it feels. And then, of course, every person is different, right? The sensitivity of every person is different. So for some it is right away, especially for pittas, they are very sensitive to certain things, or even vatas. But for others it is not. So again, it will change from person to person. So some things, our health depends on our food, and we say let food be my medicine. So at times just food can heal. Okay, and this reminds me of one of my clients, and I would like to give you that example. Is this lady, she came to me with a lot of gas, bloating, constipation, and insomnia was also there to some extent. You could imagine a vata deranged lady, walking in. So she presented with all of these things. When I looked at her, checked her, there's a lot of dryness on the skin, which signifies vata, dry hair. So all of that was there, which wasn't there previously. I asked her, is it always like this? She said, no, it's just, recently that I've noticed these things. I changed my shampoos, because the first thing you do is like look, okay, externally, right? You don't look what's going on inside your body. So then I asked her a few questions, and then we came to the diet part of it when we started talking about diet. And I, interviewed her for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all details, like minute details of her diet. And she said, she's very calorie conscious, and a lot of times she just, eats salads.